is going through now. Sorry for the wait there. It's just a little bit of some technical difficulties happening. But hello, welcome. Happy 10-year anniversary for all you Portal Masters out there. 10 years ago, Skylanders SuperChargers released in the US, September 20th, 2015. And yeah, just going to be streaming here for a bit, doing some talking about Skylanders SuperChargers stuff. So first off, hope everyone is having a good day. I know I am. I got my Skylanders SuperChargers Pit Crew. There we go, Pit Crew shirt on at the moment. Just as to for celebration, I guess. Hello, Aritoka. Hope your day's going well. Welcome to the stream. Just streaming, just live stream discussion on Skylanders SuperChargers. So just camera there a little bit, actually. Hopefully that's a little better. There we go. Yeah. Hopefully everyone's doing good. If I'm just repeating myself now, aren't I? So for the live stream today, I have a couple of things that I'm going to do. I'm not going to be streaming for too long today, unlike some of my previous streams. But probably looking about maybe hour and a half-ish. We'll see how things go. But I got some stuff to unbox here. I got some stuff to talk about. So yeah. So yeah, Skylanders SuperChargers. Back in 2015, it was, I'm trying to remember when leaks started coming out about. I want to say it would have been maybe like March, April-ish. But I remember at the time I was very excited when I first saw the poster, that being the poster for that comes in the starter packs that shows the whole roster of toys coming out. And I just, I was still quite young at the time, but was super excited for the game that was coming out, and I gotta say, game did not disappoint. At the time, I definitely was more apprehensive about it than some of the other games that had come out, but over time I grew to love it. Definitely, in my opinion, Skylanders SuperChargers has the strongest story of all of the Skylanders games. Has some of the craziest, like, wow factor moments. And even though it's not my favorite gameplay-wise, I'd say SuperChargers definitely is overall my favorite Skylanders game. Yeah, so unfortunately I will not be doing any gameplay today. I have tried to get some gameplay stuff working, and unfortunately I have not been able to as of yet. I'm still having some issues with OBS and some other things, but do look out for gameplay videos in the future. That being said, you might have noticed off to the sides here, I got some posters. These are these giant store display posters that you've seen at Toys R Us, hanging right above the toy shelves. I got a few of them. I actually got this one here. This is just the SuperChargers logo. We got Jetstream and Sky Slicer right here. And behind that we got Splat and Splatter Splasher. And off to my right hand side here, we got Super Shot Stealth Elf. Got to at some point get some frames for these and get them put up somewhere better. But yeah, hopefully everyone's day is going good. So yeah, off to my left-hand side here, I do have this mystery package that I'll be opening up in just a little bit. Hopefully we'll get some more people in here before I do that. But yeah, so if anyone out there has like some stuff they wanted to talk about with Skylanders or Skylanders SuperChargers specifically, by all means. And then if you were watching this in the future, of course, do drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Skylanders SuperChargers. If like how you like it compared to some of the other games, or what have you. What could you possibly not have when it comes to Skylanders? I definitely do have quite a bit of stuff in my collection, but I'm still, like, every day looking out and seeing what else is out there. There's definitely, there was a saying that I heard quite a while back, which definitely I feel rings true, and it is Skylanders made sure that they were available at every aisle of the store you went to. So say you're going to Target or Walmart or something, and you have, of course, your regular Skylanders display where you have the figures and the demo portal set up there so you can see what the different characters will look like in the game. But then you would go over into, say, like the food aisle. Sometimes they would do food promotion for General Mills or Kid Cuisine, or what have you. You go and see Skylanders birthday cards, you'd see Skylanders party supplies in the party supply section, you'd see Skylanders t-shirts and other apparel items, and like you'd find posters and other plush toys, and they'd be in the trading card aisle. Like everywhere you looked, like Skylanders was everywhere as far as merchandise goes and as far as advertising goes. And I think it definitely went in their favor. Like it definitely helped things along. But that being said, there's so much merchandise out there that's hard to even catalog it all, let alone obtain it all in collections. So I'm still, to this day, always looking out for other new, interesting, weird, unique things to add to my collection. Even some that are like pretty common that a lot of people have that I just haven't picked up yet. But for example, since this is the Skylanders SuperChargers anniversary, I do have out here this Skylanders RC car. So this is the Spitfire and Hot Streak RC car. It has not been opened, still got all the seals on there, but basically these were only available at GameStop. I want to say pretty early on in the Skylanders SuperChargers release cycle, but they could only be found there, and they are these large, pretty detailed cars where you have the character with their signature vehicle. You can see the on the side the controller back here, and I haven't opened one up and played with one myself, so I don't know how it handles, but like compared to other RC cars. That being said, it is still quite cool. On the back here you can see the two different ones they have. They have the Spitfire and Hot Streak one, and they also had a Fiesta and Crypt Crusher one. I do not have the Fiesta and Crypt Crusher one yet, but this one has sat proudly on my shelf for a while. Yeah, so anyone out there watching, let me know, like, you know, what is your favorite Skylander from SuperChargers, or what is your favorite moment from the games? Like for me, definitely one of the greatest moments of, like, in storytelling as far as Skylanders goes, which of course you have to keep in mind Skylanders is a franchise aimed towards much younger audiences, so you won't quite always get the same level of storytelling that you see in like a blockbuster movie or television series that is aimed towards more people that are older, who are able to like kind of comprehend a lot more of the those complex stories. But for Skylanders SuperChargers, I remember as I was playing through the games and we came across the moment where like you see that there's a cutscene where the darkness is kind of talking to and manipulating Chaos into believing that Glumshanks has been working against him this whole time, and Chaos fires Glumshanks, which was, as a kid, like a complete shock, because, you know, we've gone through all these games where Glumshanks has been right there alongside Chaos every step of the way, just as his loyal butler, and even though Chaos oftentimes belittles Glumshanks, like he always always kept him around. So when Chaos fired Glumshanks, that was just a huge shock moment. And then after as well, you see Glumshanks defect to the Skylander side, and ultimately sacrificing himself for the other NPC characters. Of course, later on that he could survive and they get him back and stuff, but just a lot more like moments that hit heavier than some of the previous games. And then, of course, the fact that Chaos was not even the final boss of Skylanders SuperChargers. That was a huge thing. You know, we fight Chaos in the big climactic boss battle, and Chaos then turns on darkness, and we assume that that's it, but then credits start to roll, and the darkness comes out and reveals himself and says, like, hey, I'm not out of the woods yet, like, I'm still a problem for you guys. And then he is the real final boss. Definitely a cool moment, I think. Let's see, probably the art book. Art book is a really cool piece, yeah. I know that, gosh, I can never quite remember which is which. I believe Clutch is the SuperChargers. It is Clutch, the art of Skylanders SuperChargers is the art book you're talking about. The other one is Strata. I'm pretty sure it is Strata for Swap Force and Clutch for SuperChargers, but I might have that wrong, I don't know. But yeah, definitely, like, anyone that has a chance to get their hands on one, I know it is a bit pricey, but it's chock full of tons of really cool art and like other things, easily rendered figures in there. It's just super, super cool. I do have one in the other room that unfortunately is a little bit out of reach at the moment, so I won't be getting that just yet, but definitely, yeah, the Clutch Art of Skylanders SuperChargers book is really cool. The boy's on. Hey, Aaron! Sing SuperChargers with love. Not today. Nice try. I am not exactly the best singer, so I'm not going to be singing SuperChargers love, but appreciate you stopping by, man. Hope your day's going well, Aaron. Yeah, so I guess we can move on to talking about some of the Skylanders SuperChargers toys. So Skylanders SuperChargers, I want to say, has 78 different figures. If I have that number right, I'll have to double check that. But you have your 20 standard SuperChargers, as well as their 20 signature vehicles, good number of in-game variants, including what I actually should have out now. I don't, but Birthday Bash, Big Bubble Pop Fizz, longest name ever, but being the SuperChargers anniversary seems pretty fitting. And yeah, as far as the figures go, I gotta say, some of my favorite figures that they made that year were the SuperChargers, not the vehicles, even though the vehicles themselves are pretty cool, and the fact that a lot of them have moving parts is a cool addition as well. But I'd say definitely Thrillipede, Stormblade, and Nightfall as well. Like, those were some real standout figures that year. Just love the designs and love the gameplay, especially of Nightfall. Spitfire as well has a really good moveset. I know, like, thinking back, a lot of their starter pack characters definitely had a decent amount of the starter pack characters had really fun gameplay, I'd say, which is always nice to know that they have that going for them. Yeah, if you're just joining, welcome in. We are currently discussing Skylanders SuperChargers. Today is the 10-year anniversary of Skylanders SuperChargers release here in North America. It released on September 20th, 2015. And Wave 1, you had all of your starter packs, Dark Edition starter packs, and as well, just like the past couple years, they had pre-order cards for anyone that wanted to reserve a copy of the game. And then Wave 1 comes out on launch day. You have, besides your starter packs, you have, I believe, Dive Clops, Fiesta, Stormblade. I'm trying to remember if there are any other SuperChargers. I think there are, and then a number of vehicles as well. But I remember that launch day was definitely a fun day. Just being able to go to the store and see all of the new characters on the shelves, especially after all the hype that was built up over the summer, like at E3, where this SuperChargers Pit Crew shirt is from, as well as Gamescom overseas in Europe, of course. where they were showing off new gameplay, where they had a whole bunch of things they were showing off there, and just like every leak that came out was just to like help to build up the hype. I remember there was a viral post going around of someone that had even gotten their hands on his prototype Spitfire toy before the game had come out, which like that stuck around in my mind. And just yeah, all of it super hyped. And when I got the game, I didn't quite play through the entire game like right on the first day, as a lot of people did. With the Skylanders games, I sort of like to take my time a little bit more, and take my time just progressing through the levels. What we got here? Honestly, I wish we could have had a bit more freedom to face the darkness in the end by not being restricted solely to a land vehicle. Could have at least let us choose between sea and sky too. Yes, I agree. Like that could have been cool where you could choose any option. I know that a lot of the level designs required a land vehicle. That's why land vehicle was in the starter pack. But yeah, having like other options for that last fight definitely would have been a cool idea. Yeah, I'll say like gameplay wise, I definitely enjoyed a lot of the other games more than SuperChargers. But the racing mode specifically I did really like as well. Yeah, anyways, yeah, I guess it is about time to get into the unboxing, just since there's not a ton else going on. And again, if you are just joining for this live stream, I'm not going to be going live for super long today. Unfortunately, I do have some other stuff to get to after the stream, but being the SuperChargers 10-year anniversary, I did want to at least do a little bit of something. So, yeah, here only have 2 problems with the game: forced vehicle sections and no replayability with the story. Yeah, I can get behind that. Like, definitely the vehicle gameplay sections broke up the gameplay in a way where it just didn't quite feel as natural, and it was much more of a departure from what they had done in the past. And so, like, having alternate routes throughout the story mode definitely would have been welcome. I think just how the sea and sky vehicle sections were always optional. Yeah, but yeah, definitely as well. One thing that I think was a plus was the fact that there was the online co-op with racing mode. Obviously, I had the whole Skylanders SuperChargers racing game. That was just the racing, but as far as the other consoles, where people could get online and race each other, was a really cool addition, I think. And it's definitely, like, it didn't quite have like the same feel that I got when playing PvP in as far as Adventure Giants Swap Force, which definitely, like, I've always said that those PvP, the PvP just like battle mode, mini game, or however you want to describe it, is something that I wish they kept going. And so the fact that they at least had this online racing stuff didn't quite meet that, but it definitely like helped fill a little bit of a hole there was, I think. And definitely as well, if they make a new game at some point, which fingers crossed, hopefully they do at some point, we'll see. It would be definitely something that would be nice to see, having PvP back. But yeah, so I guess I will get to unboxing this giant box here. Got my trusty box cutter here. And this is something that actually just arrived a few days ago. Go ahead and get the tape cut here. I try my best to be careful about this and not damage any goods inside. And then as well, anyone watching, if you're ever unboxing something and you're using a box cutter or scissors or something, always cut away from yourself. Want to be safe about things. So let's get the sides here, and then that Should be good. Let's see. Not quite. Okay. Let's see here. Maybe we got it. Okay, so opening things up here, we got a note. Dear customer, thank you for your purchase. We hope you'll be pleased with the product. Sincerely, the seller. Perfect. Very nice. And opening up here, got some paper here on top. Hopefully everything has arrived still intact. And it looks like it has, which is wonderful to see. Now, I did mention earlier that I do have this Spitfire Hot Streak RC car sitting next to me, and I do not have the Fiesta and Crypt Crusher one, and that is what is in here. I'll go ahead and set this box aside here. Yeah, we got there you go, Fiesta and Crypt Crusher. So always something that I like to do first is checking to make sure everything is sealed on all sides that it's supposed to be, which it looks like it is. Just kind of looking back and forth, comparing the two, making sure everything is as it should be. Yeah, everything looks to be in pretty good condition. Alright, love that. I'll say definitely a lot of the packages that I have received recently have, like the goods inside have not arrived in very good conditions, so I'm definitely glad to have a win here with this RC car. So yeah, I'll go ahead and hold these up side by side. Just show them off there. We got the Spitfire Hot Streak and the Fiesta and Crypt Crusher, both RC cars there. And then, yeah, so for those that don't know, or who are just joining, these RC cars were only available at GameStop. They were released, I want to say, maybe like somewhere in the middle of the Skylander SuperChargers release cycle. But yeah, definitely glad to have both of those now in the collection. Right here. Gotta ask before I forget, how come Patina Eruptor is so much more expensive than the rest of the set? I'm not really 100% sure. I know that in the case of Patina High Volt, there was more of an overabundance of those figures in the market than Eruptor or some of the others. I don't know for sure if this is the case, but I did hear a rumor sometime back that there was a warehouse that was discovered that had just a lot of the Patina High Volts just sitting in this warehouse, and then were introduced to the market. And then as well, I think the same thing might have been true for Patina Burn Cycle, but I could be misremembering. But I think it just has to do with how often you see them. Like the Burn Cycle and High Volt, I definitely see a lot more often than the other two, and so the fact that there are less of the Eruptor and the Shield Striker, those tend to fetch higher prices. So Patina Shield Striker actually is the only SuperChargers figure I have not yet collected. And that is because I've tried to get everything sealed in box for my collection, and those are very hard to come by sealed in box. So definitely always on the lookout for one of those. But yeah, that I would say is most likely the case, just kind of having to do with just how much of each one is out there. I remember Fiesta definitely being one of my most anticipated back when they were first revealed. Yeah, Fiesta is a super awesome character. I love his design, based off of the Day of the Dead celebration in a lot of Latin American countries, and just overall the mariachi theme and having that bugle. Definitely, as far as gameplay is concerned, I don't play with him as often, but like design-wise, I love his design, and I love the in-game variant that they had for him, the Frightful Fiesta, being the Halloween version. That originally was a timed exclusive at GameStop before being widely released later on. Yeah, definitely love him, and I love his vehicle as well, the Coach Crusher. It might be like within my top 3 vehicles. Like I just love the design so much. Yeah, so let's see, what time are we at? We're about a half hour in. Pardon me one moment, just gonna grab something off to my right here. Alright, apologies for that. Yeah, anyways, if you are just joining, today is the 10th anniversary of Skylanders SuperChargers. 10 years ago, on September 20th, 2015, Skylanders SuperChargers released here in North America. You'll find Skylanders at the time at Toys R Us, GameStop, Walmart, Target, and Best Buy, as well as on the Amazon online retailer shop. And yeah, just kind of thinking throughout the release cycle of just some different cool things that they did. So one thing that comes to mind is, of course, the Patina Nightfall, what am I talking about? The Defective Nightfall. Although there was a Patina Nightfall like image that was going around that was a fake custom painted Nightfall that a lot of people thought was legitimate, but it turned out not to be. But nothing about the Defective Nightfall that, so for those that don't know, Nightfall initially released as part of Wave 2 of Skylanders SuperChargers, and all of the original copies actually did not work on any of the versions of the game for whatever reason, and so the original copies were recalled, and then later on at a like halfway through Wave 3 at a Skylanders Day event at GameStop was the first time people could pick up the working Nightfalls. As well, they released a patch for Skylanders SuperChargers that would allow anyone who had one of the defective toys to be able to then play them in the game. The game would then recognize the chips, but initially, for those defective ones, if you put them on the portal, it would just show up as a corrupted toy or a toy that didn't work. And yeah, and as well, if you are trying to identify a defective Nightfall, we'll say the toy itself, there's nothing that you can do looking at the toy to be able to identify one compared to any of the other working Nightfalls that were released later on. It is purely the box that would be able to tell you the difference. I unfortunately do not have one in my collection, although I'm always looking for one. But if you look at Nightfall, the character name, the text on the box, where it has the name with the catchphrase, it was, for these early defective ones, initially written as 2 words, Nightfall, and then as well on the back it had Spitfire and Hot Streak featured, whereas the newer ones have the correct spelling on the front, and on the back it'll show Nightfall and Sea Shadow as the supercharged combo that you can make. But if you are looking to identify a loose toy, there is a way, although it should come with a warning saying that there are not many out there. So if you happen across a Nightfall figure, it is almost certainly one of the working ones that was released later on. But as I mentioned before, there was a patch release that allowed all of the defective Nightfalls to work. However, the Nintendo Wii was a system that was not able to be updated. So if you have a copy of Skylanders SuperChargers for the Wii, and you have a Nightfall figure, then placing it on the portal in the Wii version of SuperChargers Racing would reveal whether it was one that was working or not. However, that also comes with a caveat of having to keep in mind that there are toys out there that were part of the later release that just, like, over time something happened, whatever, that caused them not to work either. And this is just something that has happened occasionally for whatever reason, whether the chip got damaged at some point with all Skylanders figures, where sometimes it would just not work on the portal for some reason. So that being said, if you have a copy of copy of SuperChargers on a different console, then you can test and see, okay, if it works on, say, Xbox 360, does not work on the Nintendo Wii, then you know that it is one of the defective versions. Yeah, anyways, let me see, get caught up on chat, let's see. Looking to get plastic cases for the Racing Action Pack, could definitely use some recommendations. Yeah, so I am right alongside there with you. I have a couple of Racing Action Packs. I have the Sky Racing Action Pack, the regular, not the legendary, and I also have a sealed version of the Land Racing Action Pack. And as far as recommendations go, unfortunately, I don't know of any. I know that obviously there are the Sky sleeves that I actually use quite a lot of, but those do not have Racing Action Pack sizes, at least yet. Hopefully at some point there will be more sizes in the future, but we'll see. That being said, I have seen the occasional listing on eBay that has shown off like plastic protective cases for Skylanders starter packs. I've seen specifically, I know, like ones for Skylanders Giants starter packs, but that being said, I don't know if that means that there are also other sizes out there for other types of packs. It's definitely worth looking into. That being said, just if you want to keep a sealed pack just safe, make sure that you keep it on in a place where it's well protected. That being said, in a place where you know where it is out of reach of any pets, of any small children or people that would not handle it as well. Make sure that it is not sitting in direct sunlight. Make sure that it is kept away from edges of the shelf, and if possible, not hanging on the hook that is on the package, just because over time the glue can deteriorate and eventually fall apart. So if you're looking to keep something safe and you cannot find a protector out there, it is really just a matter of doing what you can to keep it in a safe location where it will be undisturbed, essentially. Artoka, I'm assuming you've been collecting since 2011, but how do you keep being so passionate about collecting? Because for me, been trying to get that excitement back, but I just don't care like how I used to. So I've been collecting since 2012. Actually, the first thing I got was a Skylanders Giants starter pack. I got it halfway through the Giants release cycle. I got it as a gift on Christmas Eve in 2012. So there's definitely a lot of stuff that came out before that that I did not have a chance to get my hands on, at least until a while later when I grew up, got a job, and was able to start paying for stuff online. But really, it's just I've been following the Skylanders franchise for so long. You know, it's been what, like 12, 13, 14 years, somewhere in there, that I've been collecting, and so just all this time, like, you know, it's something I grew up with. I was 12 years old when I first started, and so every time that there was a new game or a new toy that was coming out for Skylanders, I was always like super excited to go to the store and get my hands on a copy. And so just having that nostalgia factor has definitely helped a lot. And like as well, when I did first get a job and started earning my own money, and I was able to start going for some of the higher tier stuff, if you want to call it that, online. Like my first paycheck, for example, Part of it I had spent on a Target exclusive Whirlwind, the early version of Whirlwind that was exclusive to Target before it was released more widely later on, and a Life Yawn Trap. Like my very first paycheck I ever got, part of it went towards that because those were two things that I just did not have in my collection, but I knew that I would never be able to get in my collection because they weren't in stores. Like I wouldn't be able to go to a store and get one. So I just had to resort to getting them online. I had gotten them both from eBay. And just over the years, I've just built up my collection more and more, going to get different chase variants of things, and I would always like focus really on one thing at a time. So, for example, you know, I'm like have this listing on eBay that I'm looking at, and it's for a bronze bone bash rollerball at the time, and like it was something where I was like, okay, I'm excited just to get this one thing. Like I'm gonna save up for the next few paychecks until I have enough set aside to be able to get this thing, and I excitedly wait for it in the mail. When it comes in, I just look at it, I'm like, okay, this is awesome. Like I get to check this off the list, and I have a running checklist of which ones I have, which ones I need, and I've set goals for myself as far as collecting is concerned. So for example, there are 603 different Skylanders figures, at least for the ones that I'm collecting. For what I would consider to be a full collection would be the 603 figures. That includes the 6 figures that were not released, the crystals and Heartbreak the Buckshot, as well as all the different chase variants, all of the as well as Happy Birthday Ben, all the different in-game variants, all of that. And so I've always had in my mind, like, okay, this is my goal, I'm working towards that goal, I'm going to try and get all 603. And so each time that I was able to check one off the list, I would be excited because I was like, hey, that's another one down, I get to move my count up to, like, you know, whatever number it was at that point. And as well, each time I got a new figure, for example, going back to that bronze bone bash rollerball, I was excited because I was like, hey, that's the last rollerball that I need. I now have all the different rollerballs, which, like, at the time I just thought was, which I still do, think was just like a super cool thing to be able to say that, like, I've collected all the different rollerballs. I have the regular rollerball, I have bone bash rollerball, I have the legendary bone bash rollerball, and now I have the bronze chase variant, which was the hardest one to get. And so, like, I've set kind of goals for myself, as well as like figures. I've also looked into trying to get like sealed figures more recently. Like my sealed figure collection, I've been building up a lot more over the years. As I got Skylanders, I opened a lot of them up, just being a kid and growing up, and now I am trying to get a more complete sealed collection. So fairly recently, like the past 6 months or so, I've gotten in quite a few sealed figures, even though a lot of them aren't that special. Like, for example, there's just like a Series 2 Drill Sergeant that I got in recently. There's just the Series 2 Drill Sergeant single pack. A lot of people have that. It's not that hard to come by, but it's something I didn't have, and it's something that I could check off as far as this goal that I'm working towards. And so just celebrating little victories like that, like each time I would get something in that was something I didn't have, I would celebrate. And so, and then, you know, as time progressed and as I built up more of a collection, and I like started showing stuff off in Discord servers, I was like, hey, check this out, I got this legendary Spyro that I didn't have before. Like, I've been started to just kind of build up just, yeah, my collection, and be able to say, hey, I got this thing, it's cool. I don't know if that per se answers your question super well, but that's kind of it, is setting goals and celebrating wins wherever I can find them. Yeah, anyways, if anyone is just joining, welcome to the stream, glad you can make it. for those that are unaware, today is the 10th anniversary of Skylander SuperChargers. 10 years ago today, on September 20th, 2015, Skylander SuperChargers released here in North America. And today I have just gone live for a little bit to celebrate, just to talk about Skylanders with y'all. Having a good time, and hope everyone's day is going well. I just recently unboxed this Fiesta and Crypt Crusher RC car that was released for Skylander SuperChargers. Pretty cool, something I didn't have before. Hey Jillian, hope you guys going well. Smart way to be, and also smart way to handle lots of life, celebrate the small ones for whenever they come. Exactly, yes. Yeah, and that is something that I've just kind of tried to just keep in mind, just going forward, just with things in general. You set goals for yourself. You figure out what the steps are to get yourself to that goal, and you just work towards it. And each little step that takes you towards that goal is a win, and you celebrate those wins. Anyways, I guess as well, I have a couple other things aside here just to show off that have to do with Skylander SuperChargers. So, with Skylander SuperChargers and the roster of, I believe, 78 toys that they came out with, two in particular, the Sharkshooter Terrafin, which is the reimagined supercharger version of Terrafin, as well as his signature vehicle, the Shark Tank, were both released either as part of Wave 1 or Wave 2. I know they were pretty early releases. But I do have set aside here some special versions of those toys. And for those that are familiar with Skylander Swap Force, you'll know that even though there was a much wider, well, I shouldn't say much wider, there was the employee exclusive Light Course Snowder Dash toy that was released, or not released, but given out as Christmas presents as a way to say thank you to different people who worked on Skylanders Swap Force. But also that year, there was a secondary employee exclusive figure that was released, and this was the Gold Firecracken that was only given out to the dev team. So it's the dev team Gold Firecracken, and that was only given out to people who were working on at Vicarious Visions. And for SuperChargers, they were planning on doing the same thing. While they have the Snowbright Stormblade, which, by the way, is my favorite chase variant of all time. Love the look of Snowbright Stormblade. While that was released to people, or I keep on saying released, that's not the right word, given out as presents, as Christmas presents to people that worked on games, there was also going to be specific versions of Sharkshooter Terrafin and Shark Tank that were only given out to the dev team, people who worked at Vicarious Visions, excuse me. And I have them set here, and these are prototype toys. These dev team figures did not end up being produced like the others, so these are essentially canceled chase variants, but they're going to be these camo print Sharkshooter Terrafin and Shark Tank toys. And so this was what these dev team edition figures would have looked like. You see this is the camo print Sharkshooter Terrafin. We don't know if this would have had an official name per se, but you'll see here on, I'll get a little closer to the camera here, so you can see the bottom of the toy. Focus, come on, let's focus in there. I don't know that it is quite focusing, but essentially this is a factory sticker. So this is a label that was just stuck onto the bottom of the figure, and it just has some information about it. So it says here, classification sign sample. And so this is basically a sample of this figure. This is what supposedly the finalized figure would have looked like, as long as there was no last minute changes or anything that needed to be done before this was produced. And then it also says here design name on the second row. And it says dev team exclusive shark shooter Terrafin. And then it also says R2 in parentheses after that. Gosh, it is really not focusing there. I'm really trying here. I know I'm getting super close to you guys. Apologies. I'm just trying to get this focused in. All right. Yeah, doesn't look like it is doing so, unfortunately. It also says to Activision from Creata/Weeboo, which is one of the factories overseas, and it also has the date that it was made, which is December 1st, 2015. And the fact that this is a signed sample and was released, or was created in December 2015, which is around when these would have been given out as Christmas presents to the dev team. It tells us that these made it pretty far into production. As well as the shark shooter Terrafin, there's this shark tank as well. It has this camo print. You see it has this shark face on the side, same thing on this side, which is reminiscent of one of the mods in Skylander SuperChargers that you can apply to your vehicles, for those who don't know, who haven't played Skylander SuperChargers. Throughout the vehicle sections of the game, you can collect different vehicle mods and then apply those to your vehicle, kind of like upgrades, but more cosmetic. Although I believe some of them did change some of the attacks. But one of the mods would allow Shark Tank to have this shark face pattern on the side. As well, this was represented in the Shark Tank Happy Meal toy that came out that year. It had this shark pattern on the side. And then also has this factory label on the bottom. It says the same thing. Signed sample, dev team exclusive Shark Tank to Activision from Creata/Weeboo in December 1st, 2015 is when this was created. And so supposedly these would have been given either as a pair, just in single packs, or potentially in a supercharged combo pack. For those that don't know, a lot of the Skylander SuperChargers toys, since they have the signature driver and signature vehicle, would be paired together in a pack called a supercharged combo pack. And there was a Shark Shooter Terrafin and a Shark Tank supercharged combo pack released, so these potentially would have been in a combo pack together. We don't know. Anyways, let me get caught up on chat just a little bit. Happy 10th anniversary, SuperChargers, and hi all. Hi Jillian. Also digging the artwork, and the shirt is boss. Appreciate it. Yeah, so this is a Skylander SuperChargers Pit Crew shirt. This is the shirt that was worn by people who were running the, who basically were present at the Skylander SuperChargers booth at E3 2015. And so basically being a racing themed game, you have these Pit Crew shirts. You'll see on the back here, it does say Pit Crew. Hopefully that is coming across there. And so basically all of the people who were running the booth at E3 2015 were wearing these shirts, as well as a couple people who attended, I believe, also were able to get their hands on one. I believe, I remember, and I could be wrong because I'm just remembering this from a long time ago at this point, but I remember as a kid I followed the Skylander Boy and Girl YouTube channel for a while, and I vaguely remember them getting some of these shirts, but I could be wrong. But that being said, that event is where this shirt comes from. It's pretty cool, and I'll say this is the first time I've actually ever worn this shirt, and it is probably the last time I will ever wear this shirt, just because it is quite hard to come by. It is still in, like, basically flawless condition, and so it's just, like, after the stream I'll take this off, I'll put it into a frame and stuff, but yeah. And then digging the artwork. Oh yes, yeah, so off to my left and right hand sides, these are store display posters. I believe these would have come from Toys R Us, but basically these are giant posters that were printed on, I think, like cardstock or something. And these giant signs would have hung above the toy displays in the stores. So we have the SuperChargers logo there. Also have, of course, on this side we got Super Shot Stealth Elf, as you can see. And then behind this one here, we also have the blue. It's not dropped them. There we go. Jetpack and Jetstream, as well as Splat and Splatter Splasher. There we are. Ta-da! Let's see what else we got. Gosh, and it does answer the question very well. Good, appreciate it. I'm glad that that I answered that question for you. Do we know who was the lead designer at Vicarious Visions? I don't know off the top of my head, although I'm sure I could look it up and I might be able to find the answer to that. Unfortunately, that is not something I'll be able to get to do during this stream, but that is definitely something to look into. Yeah, anyways, if anyone is just joining, welcome in. Hopefully you are having a good day and appreciate you joining the stream, or if you are catching this later on after the stream in the future, thank you for tuning in and watching. We are currently celebrating the 10th anniversary of Skylanders SuperChargers, and just having a good old discussion. So yeah, hopefully everyone's day is going well. Yes, we can talk about some more of gameplay stuff. So definitely, like back in the day, SuperChargers was one of the games that or I shouldn't say back in the day, I'll say like after the games came out. I haven't really played any of the games more recently, even though I have wanted to, I just haven't had much time to. But like SuperChargers is one of those games that I came back to and played more regularly than some of the others. Specifically the racing mode. I did a lot of the racing mode. And just like that specifically, just trying to like get my scores up, my times down for all the different tracks. Definitely had a lot of good music as well, I'll say. Lauren Balfe is just, they're absolute geniuses there. Lauren Balfe, for those that don't know, did the music on almost the entirety of the Skylanders franchise, and the tracks, pun intended, or not, I don't know, pun not intended, but the tracks on the Skylanders SuperChargers official orchestral score definitely are some of the best in the series, I believe. Like they're definitely some good driving songs. Yeah, I still actually do listen to them on the way to work sometimes. But yeah, so I guess, yeah, so as far as gameplay is concerned, remembering back, I'm trying to remember because, as I said, it has been a while since I have played any of the games. But I remember one of the changes that initially I was against, but grew on me over time, is the fact that when your Skylander falls off the edge of the map, they take damage. As a kid growing up with the series and playing through the games, you know, all the way through Skylanders Trap Team, in the cases where your Skylander could fall off the map, they would just get teleported back onto the map. But in SuperChargers, they actually were a little bit more punishing with that, which I actually nowadays think is actually a good thing. It definitely fits the more intense style per se of the game, even though it's not really intense. It's just kind of comparatively. Some things are a bit more intense compared to some of the other games. Yeah, like definitely having more stakes in the story, having some tougher gameplay, which, you know, we're not going to talk about Trap Team Nightmare Mode, that is its own thing, but tougher gameplay in some some of the battle sections of the game, and then scarier bosses as well. Definitely kind of fits in all that. And as well, some of the characters that they brought back that were like completely not expected. Uh-oh, looks like I am freezing here. Let me see if I can get that going. There we go. I think that's fixed. But like the fact that they have like they brought back Count Moneybone. For those that don't know, Count Moneybone did not appear in SuperChargers first. He appeared in the 3DS version of, I believe, Skylanders Swap Force first. Maybe it was Skylanders Giants, but I'm pretty sure it was Swap Force. And the fact that they had brought him back for Skylanders SuperChargers, as well, just like one of my favorite villains of the entire franchise is Count Moneybone. And as well, obviously bring back Chaos, bring back Glumshanks, bring back Master Eon and some of the main like NPC cast, but also like some surprises would be the fact that they brought back Cluck from the Tower of Time Adventure Pack in the story. They gave him a whole new level where he has this fried chicken empire, and then as well that they brought back the darkness and was able to tie a lot of the story into the core of light and things from the first game was really cool to see. And the fact that we got all of this new information about familiar things like the core of light, like the Cloud Kingdom, being able to go into the books at the Spellpunk Library and learning about the history of Skylands and the Skylanders, which I'm always a sucker for good storytelling and world building, and they definitely did a lot of world building that was did not go unnoticed, I'll say. Yeah, like definitely. Oh, as well, one thing I didn't mention earlier, but we were talking about some different like shock moments in the story. Opening right up with Chaos basically already having won was such like a moment that was coming so out of left field. It was definitely shocking where he essentially has captured all of our friends. He has cut us off from Skylands, which if you read the tie-in comic books, you'll know just kind of how he got to that point of building the Sky Eater out in the Outlands and using this essentially weapon of mass destruction as he is destroying the sky in Skylands. And the Skylanders Academy gets converted from a school to more of a stronghold, even though it always kind of was, but much more apparently in this story. And the fact that you were always just kind of on the run from this like world-ending machine, and like you're having to use these rift engines, like the rift engine in the portal that opens this rift that allows you to send Skylanders back into Skylands while being disconnected from the portal network, and all of this stuff that just creates this sense of like not being in control, which a lot of the Skylanders storytelling before SuperChargers, even though there was different things going on, like it always felt like, okay, this is definitely like, you know, we're getting to a place where we're going to defeat the bad guy and we're going to, like, everything's going to be okay. SuperChargers wasn't quite like that. It felt just right from the get-go, right at the beginning there, that like it was going to be a more intense story that you're playing through. Let's see. Can't think of how they can make Skylanders more difficult. I'll say I've definitely played some games that are much more difficult than Skylanders, but as far as a franchise that is aimed towards 6 and up, you can't make the gameplay too tough. You can't have puzzles that are too hard to solve. You can't have enemies that are too hard to defeat. But definitely, like, if they make a new game, like, you know, I don't know if they're going to, like, make a new game at all, whether that be a 7th installment or whether that be a remaster of one of the existing games. But if they do make a seventh installment, which is what I would prefer myself, I would definitely like them to make it a little more like hardcore in a sense, like definitely tougher gameplay, definitely like a little bit darker storytelling than you would have, because a lot of the fans that grew up with Skylanders are now a little bit older and can handle those sort of things in video games. And so if they are somehow, which I don't know if they are, or if they're just going to try and keep their PG rating with Skylanders, but if they're somehow able to just make things more intense going forward, or like, you know, harsher gameplay, however it is, and I know that this is an idea that I'm not quite articulating very well. I apologize for that, but definitely if they are able to cater to the fans that grew up with the series, while keeping in touch with their roots, making things more difficult, would be something that I would like to see myself. But who knows? We'll see. I'm just one more actually gonna go grab a sip of water right here. I've been talking quite a bit. Pro tip for anyone live streaming on YouTube or on Twitch or whatever: have a glass of water handy. You will thank yourself, especially if you're doing a lot of talking. If anyone is just joining, welcome in, welcome to the stream. Hope your day is going well. I appreciate you stopping by. Today we are celebrating Skylanders SuperChargers 10th anniversary, and just talking about the game. As well, another big thing that I can talk about with Skylanders SuperChargers is that they stopped doing the stat cards that were always included with the Skylanders figures, because they had a new card game coming out. In every Skylanders SuperChargers starter pack, you would get a couple of starter Battlecast cards. Skylanders SuperChargers, Skylanders Battlecast was a huge thing, at least in my opinion. I know it didn't do very well, like it didn't perform how they wanted it to, at least to the degree that they wanted it to, even though I loved it. I loved the gameplay, I loved the cards to life mechanic of it, and just kind of the whole idea of Skylanders Battlecast. I liked all of the, artwork on the cards and all of the, keeping that collectability aspect of Skylanders, which speaks to my heart. Skylanders Battlecast is something that they, I thought did very well with, which I am still trying to finish my Skylanders Battlecast set, and it's going to be a while, because I'm trying to get everything pack pulled, but all those silver and gold foils, they are tough. Skylanders Battlecast in conjunction with Skylanders SuperChargers 2015 was definitely one of the best years for Skylanders, I would say. I do wonder if that would stray too far from the charm of the game. I also know that so many of the longtime fans are now sharing it with younger siblings, kids, or nibblings. Did I say that right? So I wonder if they still aim to keep the same level of charm and PG rating as you mentioned. Yeah, that is something I've thought about. If they do a new installment at some point, I do think that they would keep the PG rating. They would keep it aimed towards kids, as it always has been, and especially being a Toys to Life franchise, the fact that it has to do with toys, which is something that is very much aimed towards kids. Just as a whole, toys are aimed towards kids, and even though I would like some more intense stuff from the franchise, leading into some different things, I don't think it would go that route if they did. Which, to be honest, whatever they do, if they do anything, I'm going to be down for. I'm still going to be buying the games, I'm still going to be playing through, I'm still going to be collecting toys. Whatever they do, I am all about Skylanders. So, I would just be happy for anything. I'm just really kind of being a beggar not chooser kind of situation here. Skylanders, definitely, like, a lot of the charm does come from the cartoony nature of it. Like, you have Chaos being the main villain of the series, being this little shrimpy guy who's just always kind of like, has this big personality that's much bigger than him, and having all these different like animal characters and troll characters and like all of this like super colorful cartoony world that these characters inhabit. Um, Definitely like brings some childlike charm, and I think one thing as well that I do really appreciate about Skylanders is that um, it has helped me to not grow up too much. Like the fact that even though it is aimed towards kids, it is something that I still hold near and dear to my heart every single day. And the fact that I am able to share this passion with other people out there um, is something that I think is just so wonderful. And I like love stuff that is aimed towards kids just in general. I watch cartoons still. I like, all things Disney. I like all of these things, and like just keeping myself young at heart. Skylanders is definitely something that helps out with that, and I definitely love that. So whatever they do, which I do think if they do something, it would be PG. I think like I'm still going to be a fan of it. So can't wait for the 20th anniversary of Skylanders SuperChargers. Oh my gosh! Speaking of making me feel old, like yeah, that is not too far away, which is crazy to think about. Like next year, it is going to be the 15th anniversary of SuperChargers of Spyro's Adventure, excuse me, which is crazy to think about, and that the 20th anniversary is not that far. Like I'm 24 years old myself. Like the fact that Skylanders is like pretty soon going to be 20 years old, like that is just crazy to me. But like there's still new stuff I'm learning about this franchise every single day, so like it's never felt old to me. Not that a new, more intense version would be bad or not appreciated, just makes me wonder how they'd plan that. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it really just has to do with whoever is in control of the IP and what they want to do with it. I think that it would be smarter from a company perspective to just kind of keep with what they've done, because Skylanders, when it was coming out, was one of the best selling kids video game franchises of all time. In fact, one of the best selling video game franchises, regardless of age rating, of all time, at least at the time, and as well the #1 toy line for kids for a number of years, and made millions upon millions of dollars, which the whole Toys to Life concept kind of does play into that that being able to make money, essentially, having all of these characters that are essentially like, even though they are action figures, they are DLC for video games, like encourages people to go out and purchase more figures and make them more money. But that being said, like, the fact that it is like or has been in the past such a successful franchise, even though the past couple games did not perform quite as well as they had hoped, it still turned a profit. And if they were going to create a new game, I know that Activision a few years back was purchased by Microsoft, so whether it be Microsoft that would be making those decisions, or Activision, or whoever is the development team on the game, whether that be Toys for Bob or someone else, it'll just depend on what they want to do with it. And I think that sticking to what has worked in the past for them would be the smarter business option to go for. And so keeping it aimed towards kids, which I would prefer they kept the Toys to Life aspect, just like that's the collector in me talking. but who knows if they will or not. But like, just in general, they I think that is what they would do if they did. There was, when Skylanders Trap Team was revealed to the world, they had this huge show. I'm trying to remember where it was. I don't remember where even it was at. But they were showing off Trap Team for the first time. They had gameplay that they were showing off. They had new toys that they were showing off. But there was a speech by then CEO of Activision, Eric Hirschberg, and he had come out in front of this audience and had said something along the lines of, we make kids say wow for a living. When you make kids say wow for a living, you've got something. And he talked about the history of the franchise, talked about some statistics as far as what their sales have been, and talked about how every single year with Skylanders, at least up to that point, they tried to do something new, something innovative. And I'll say that the legendary Robert Leyland, the mastermind engineer at Toys for Bob behind Skylanders and Portals of Power, is definitely responsible for that, at least in part, if not fully. But you know, with Skylanders Spyro's Adventure, the Skylanders themselves was the concept. You have this toys to life, which nothing quite like it had been seen yet. Then Skylanders Giants comes along, and even though you have the Giants like gimmick, their new innovation was the light core technology, where you would have lights, LED lights in the Skylanders figures that once you hold it close to the portal, they would start to glow without any physical connection. With Skylanders Swap Force, you had the swappability, and then with Trap Team, they had the he talked about the concept of trapping villains, whereas before they brought toys to life, now they're bringing life to toys. And for those who have not seen this video, by the way, please go out there, check it out, look at the Skylanders Trap Team worldwide reveal, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But Eric Hirschberg talking about Skylanders and how Skylanders has made a success, or has been a success for them, and made kids say wow each time that they have kids coming in and play testing, each time that they have like new toys coming out. Like it was all, like, they made kids say wow. That was kind of one of the big things that he was talking about. And so a new installment, I think, definitely would be, looks like I am frozen again. Fix that. Definitely would be something that they would continue forward with. Let's see what else we got. Buddy, we're all old. Yes, we are. I like that quote, quite powerful. Yeah, like, definitely, like, Skylanders was not just a genius money-making strategy, but, like, the impact that it had on toys and video games, and, like, everything that they were able to accomplish with Skylanders is just insanely impressive. And yeah, like, definitely moving forward, like, as I said, the collector in me would want them to continue coming out with the Skylanders toys. I would love for them to do that, but you never know. That being said, like, whatever they are able to do, like, if they're able to continue making kids say wow, they've got a success on their hands. Do you like the boss pursuit mode? So as far as the Skylanders SuperChargers racing mode is concerned, I actually did not play the different modes very much. I usually just stuck to playing just kind of your regular race against the NPCs. That was just like playing through the track, and that was it. I know they have like the mirror version and the time trials and the boss pursuits. And I did end up playing through the boss pursuits, just, you know, as to make sure that I had unlocked all of those different villains. But like, you know, you had like the Dragon Hunter, you had Mesmerelda, you had Pinata. I think they might have had Dr. Crankcase as well, I'm not sure. It had, I believe, Glumshanks as well, and then like all of these would have been available by putting the trophies on the portal, and then of course you have the Chaos trophy, unlocking Chaos and the Doomjet. But I didn't end up playing through them very much, so and since it's been quite a while since I've played the games, it's hard for me to really give an accurate answer to that. Like I definitely enjoyed like every aspect of Skylanders. I have enjoyed playing, even though there's some that I like more than others. I definitely did enjoy all of it. So even though I usually played other versions of racing or other modes of racing, like I enjoyed everything that there was to offer. So I missed the beginning. We'll rewatch later. What is your favorite music soundtrack? All good. Yeah, I am actually not going to be streaming for much longer. Like I'll probably wrap it up in about 15-20 minutes or so. But favorite music soundtrack? I'm not sure if you're talking about SuperChargers specifically, or all of Skylanders, or just music in general. But if you're talking about Skylanders SuperChargers, definitely like the main SuperChargers theme, as well as what's it called? I'm trying to remember what all of the tracks are called, but Rift into Overdrive, I remember that is a big one that I really like. The After Party, that is another one that I really enjoy. And then whatever it's called, this main SuperChargers theme, like those are some of, I think, the best tracks in like among the entire franchise, not just SuperChargers. Although it is hard to beat a lot of the SSA and Skylanders Giants tracks, definitely. Yeah, those are some that like I still to this day like, even though I do listen to all of the Skylanders music on occasion, like those are some that I listen to more often than others when I'm driving per se, or whatever. But yeah, definitely Lauren Balfe are geniuses. They have done some really amazing tracks for Skylanders. Yeah. Anyways, if anyone is just joining, welcome to the stream. Hope your day is going well. And thank you for tuning in. For those that don't know, today is the 10th anniversary of Skylanders SuperChargers. 10 years ago today, SuperChargers released here in North America on September 20th, 2015. And yeah, we've just been having some good discussions. I've been showing off some SuperChargers things. We've been talking about all things Skylanders SuperChargers, or Skylanders in general. And yeah. So that being said, if anyone is watching in the future, definitely do leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts on SuperChargers. Let me know like what your favorite Skylander is, what your favorite like vehicle is from Skylanders SuperChargers. I'll say for myself, definitely one of my favorite vehicles is the Buzzwing. I think that might be my top favorite. Thinking back, let's see, we got Clown Cruiser, you got Jetstream, Sky Slicer, you got Stealth Stinger, Quick Crusher, Tomb Buggy, that's another one. That Tomb Buggy is another one of my favorites, I'll say. You got Shark Tank, Thump Truck, Hot Streak, Burn Cycle, Dive Bomber, Reef Ripper. I do like Reef Ripper a lot as well. And this is talking about just from a design standpoint, I should say, not necessarily a gameplay standpoint. We got Splatter Splasher, Soda Skimmer, Barrel Blaster, Shield Striker, Gold Rusher. Gold Rusher's another one I would say would be among my top. As well as Quick Crusher that I've talked about earlier in the stream. And then you got Sunrunner and Sea Shadow. Yeah, definitely would be probably Buzzwing, Crypt Crusher, Tomb Buggy, and I'll throw Hot Streak in there as well. Would be like, those would be like my top vehicles, I would say. Let's see, was it ever confirmed that Tessa was going to be a playable character, or was it just a character they wanted to create for fun? So I don't know for sure. I do know what you're talking about. For those that don't know, There is a prototype toy that exists of a Tessa figure. So Tessa being the NPC that was originally introduced in Skylanders Swap Force and later became a main cast member throughout the rest of the games. Was at one point there was a Tessa SuperCharger figure. She was on the Rift engine base, and it was her with a bow and arrow. And it is unknown for sure whether or not she would have been a playable character. I believe she would have been, but I don't know for sure, especially since it is kind of a departure from what they've done in the past. They haven't really done, or at least they hadn't really finalized any NPC characters, even though they did create some prototypes of some others. You have some old prototypes from Toys for Bob that you see of characters like Chaos, like Arbo, Glumshanks, as well as some others here and there. But yeah, we don't know for sure if that Tessa figure would have been actually released, if she would have been a playable character or not. We don't know. It's entirely possible that they would have steered the story to having her become a supercharger in Skylander, but we don't know. Buzzwing is a great fidget, one of my favorites for that reason. Yeah, definitely as far as the toys are concerned, Buzzwing would be my favorite as far as moving parts, because you have the button on the back that initially spreads the wings out, and then pressing it again makes them flat, and you can just tuck them right back in. Definitely the most dynamic of all of them, and as well as just the design with the clear orange wings is just, I just love it so much. Yeah, as far as development on SuperChargers is concerned, I'd say there was a lot of different ideas that they were playing with. As well, I just today came across an article that was talking about some different ideas that they had for Skylanders SuperChargers, while Skylanders SuperChargers Racing, of course, was also released alongside the main game. Apparently they were, that Vicarious Visions was planning on releasing a number of different sub-games, whether upon release of SuperChargers or just throughout the future under the SuperChargers banner. While there was SuperChargers Racing, there was also going to be a couple of other things. There was like a SuperChargers Crash Kart game that was planned at one point, as well as one or two others. I'm not remembering the names of them at the moment, but definitely some interesting stuff. And they, in this article that I found, had some different logos as well for what they would have been. And who knows what exactly those different games would have entailed. But yeah, just kind of cool stuff to think about. I'm pretty sure I'd fail badly in that challenge. Touch alone. How do you think you'd do? I'm not 100% sure what you're referring to. Let's see. I would say she was supposed to be a purple character because why give her a sophisticated pose with a bow and arrow and everything when every single other NPC character is just standing there? Yeah, so that is kind of the thing, is like, well, what was the purpose? Which it is possible that this would have been something that was not actually intended to be a finalized figure. It would have been made for some other purpose. Obviously, at some of the events, they've even had like these giant replica statues of some of the figures and some of the different characters. So potentially this would have been something that was made as a scale model for something like that, or would have been something that was given as a gift to an employee or something like that, who knows, or if this would have been a finalized figure, I don't know. So yeah, Martin, you have to let me know, you might have to let me know more specifically what you are referring to by that. But yeah, so as far as development on SuperChargers, there's something else I was going to mention. I'm not remembering exactly. Sorry, assuming you've seen SCLA's video. Oh, yes, yeah, I did see the video today. By the way, Jillian, congratulations on the win, I think. Wait, maybe, I don't know. Did you win? I'm trying to remember. I did catch the video. I've been doing a lot of stuff today, so I don't remember everything, whether you or Matt won. But either way, just congrats, I guess. But that is definitely a fun challenge that, like, I mean, I feel like I would do fairly well, but I don't know, I'm sure, like, you know, in concept, something might seem easy, and then in practice would be much tougher. Like, you know, I might be able to identify head brush a lot easier than, say, like, I don't know, Mini Genie, but who knows, because, like, obviously, you know, I see these figures every single day. Every single day, I am, like, looking at figures in my collection. I'm looking at pictures on my phone of different Skylanders things. So even though I know that this is a sharpshooter Terrafin, like, looking at it, trying to identify a sharpshooter Terrafin while not being able to see it might be a bit tougher. But I know as I was watching the video, I was thinking, like, okay, what would my strategy be? Like, for me, I definitely, I think, would, like, start from the bottom up. I would, like, start with the base. I would identify, okay, I can tell if it's a Sensei just by the shape of the base. I can tell if it's a Supercharger just by the shape of the base. And then as far as the base for Trap Team and before, I'd have to, like, figure out, like, what element it is. And that's, I think, where I would start. It's like, okay, what element is this? And then I can narrow it down from there. And then, yeah, just, like, trying to feel around different things, but I'm sure it is harder than it looks. But yeah, let's see. No, you lost your, or I lost your old grade one down. It was a close match though. It was really, really close. I do remember that it was like a difference of one figure. And the shift half, like that is just a mean play. And then as well, like the damage figure, like that is something that would really throw me off, because I'm so used to seeing figures that are not damaged, and like having something that is just unfamiliar as a whole would just really throw me off, I feel. And as well, like shift, the bottom half of shift, of night shift, excuse me, would be like difficult because it's not a very identifiable shape. Like it's kind of similar to the bottom half of Loop. Even if you could narrow down and know, okay, this is the bottom half of the Swapper, like it'd be close enough to some others where it's like, okay, is this Shift? Is this Ranger? Is this Loop? Not really sure. Harder than I thought it'd be, for sure. Yeah. It's the difference between looking at it and feeling it without having any context. Yeah. Visually, yes, but touch, I know I'd be bad. It was diabolical. I loved it. Yeah, like definitely, like I have some ideas as far as like, man, if I was trying to trip someone up, what would I put in there? And like some of them would be more obvious, like, you know, if you have the UFO hat card that is sitting there, well, okay, there's that I feel like would be pretty obvious. There's only one thing that could be. But if you have something like, because as well, I should say as well, another thing I thought of was the fact that a lot of the Skylanders figures have essentially the same pose, where you have the character and it's one arm up, one arm down, in some fashion. Like there's so many that are just like that. Like it's even just among Spyro's Adventure. Like the one arm up, one arm down. You have Stealth Elf, Stump Smash, Double Trouble, Terrafin. You have Voodoo. You have Boomer. You have Trigger Happy, kind of. You have Lightning Rod, like, and that's just from the first game. And I'm sure there's more I didn't mention. But the fact that a lot of them have like the same pose, I feel like would be pretty difficult. And then having to throw that in with all of the other games figures. So yeah, I can definitely see how it would be more difficult than would initially, like, than you initially think. there were so many I was kicking myself for afterwards. It's crazy how blank your mind goes. Yeah, because like as a viewer, like you see the figure right away, and so you know, like watching the video, you think, okay, well, like there's some things on that figure that I feel like would be so obvious that would give it away, but when you have like 180 something different molds that there were, or different things like that would be that you have to go through, and you don't know what's there, and you really have to feel around and figure it out. Like from a viewer perspective, it seems, oh, it should be super obvious, but when you're in the dark, not as much. That being said, if they had put a trap in front of you again, like I'm assuming based off of the rules of the game that there's only a couple traps that they could, because of the fact that you can't put a variant figure in. You have to tell, oh, is this regular deja vu or legendary deja vu? Obviously you can't tell. And that'd be the same case for a lot of the traps. There's only a few that have like a specific mold, like unless you had to identify, okay, this is the tiki mold, whether it's water or tech, I don't know. But you have light owl trap, dark spider trap, and then chaos and ultimate chaos, and that's it. Everything else shares its mold with at least one other trap that would be indistinguishable. So if you have a trap set in front of you, you know it can only be one of a few, at least. If I have the like a good understanding of the rules. But yeah, definitely a unique idea for videos. And yeah, anyways. Well, hopefully everyone is having a good day. If you are just tuning in, I know I've said this a lot for those that have been here the whole time. I apologize for how many times I've said this, but if you are just tuning in, welcome. Thank you for joining. Glad you could be here, and appreciate you taking time out of your day to come and visit. We are currently celebrating 10 years of Skylanders SuperChargers, and just kind of reminiscing, celebrating, talking about the game, talking about the different figures, and just all things Skylanders and Skylanders SuperChargers. Yeah, hopefully everyone is having a good day. We'll say I will be wrapping things up probably in about 5-10 minutes here, just because I do have some other stuff I have to get to today. But yeah, if anyone has some like if you want to drop in the comments your favorite Skylanders figure, or your favorite moment from SuperChargers, or if you have like a favorite moment of hunting back in the day, or you know, whatever. Let's just talk about Skylanders for a bit. You know, have some fun. Yeah. So. Responsibilities? Ridiculous. Yes, unfortunately, I do have a number of things to get to after this stream today. But I sometime soon will be actually recording some videos, which has not really been possible recently. But now I'm getting to a point where I'll be able to record some more videos in the future, which I'm super excited about. I have a lot of ideas. And I don't know how long it's going to take me to get all of those edited and put out onto YouTube, but so no promises, but look out for some more stuff, which I will say, I do recognize I have said it in the past and things haven't exactly worked out, but I do have some stuff in the works here, and yeah. That being said, everyone who has tuned in today, I do appreciate you stopping by, and glad that you chose to spend your day with me for a little bit. Yeah. Let's see. Trying to think anything else to talk about as far as Skylanders SuperChargers. We've talked about the toys. We've talked about some of the development on the game. We've talked about the music. Talked about the gameplay. Talked about different merchandise that has come out, and just in general talking about the series. Yeah, like been a pretty good stream. That being said, I think I am going to wrap it up here. So thank you everyone so much for tuning in. Again, if you are watching this in the future, do leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And yeah, I will see you guys next time, whenever that happens to be. If you want to get in contact with me, you can reach me on Twitter, you can reach me on Discord, you can reach me on Reddit. I will put all of my links down in the description of this stream. You can also find them just on my YouTube channel. And yeah, so absolutely reach out if you have any questions, if you want to talk about Skylanders, I am right here. And yeah, hopefully, yeah, have a good rest of your day. Happy 10-year anniversary, everyone out there, for Skylanders SuperChargers. It is crazy that it's been 10 years already. And looking forward to the next 10 years, I guess. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, that is it for me. Have a good rest of your day, everyone.